Doctor what? What's up? Is that like Doctor Who? Is there a Doctor where? What? When? Where? How? Perhaps? Nice. Never seen Doctor Who, but I hear it's good. I could be horribly wrong, though. It could be horrendous, but that wouldn't make sense considering how long it's been on, you know? It's popular in the UK at least. Yeah, I never heard about it growing up till like college, and then I was like, everyone's into it. I was like, I have no idea. So I can't find a template for Soul of the Duelist. I think I have to make one, which sounds annoying if I like have to gather every single card. So I have some cards, but not every one. So it might be a hot minute. Thankfully, there's only 60 cards. See how much cards do I have currently on file? Like 19. Hey, Yugioh from Zero, what's up? I know, I am so happy it is 60 cards. The last couple, especially as the sets were getting more complex, were really taking its toll on me. I'm excited to have this one a little more chilled out, although I do have to make the template because I can't find one on Tier Maker. Hey, Forever! Hi, Dati Janjo. Hello, Forever. What's going on? How's everybody? And congrats to YG from Zero for hitting GOAT format. So you got that JDZ and AJT thing. Shout out to AJT. I'm editing his Nano series videos. If anyone has seen those are Janjo edits. Hey, do I have to download every single card? Because if I have to dump them all at once, I have to bite the bullet and just start. Yeah, a lot of great people play Go format. A lot of great people that are still playing Go format. Yeah, I have a folder. Like I have a giant card library that I've been downloading just over the years. But it's not like I have every single card downloaded. I'm let alone for something like this set. I'm gonna drag it on here so you all can see my pain. So for my history videos, this is essentially what I do for every single release. Um, I don't always get first set, but they look nice. Basically, if it looks nice and if it's like early on, I was just using the card art because I figured like the information is more important. But then I realized that it's nicer to look at the cards. But then as I was doing it, it was uh just like the nice looking cards, like rarities and stuff. But then there's stuff with like erratas, and some of it look kind of weird considering the time period. And so I think by the GX, I was doing the like on release cards. Look at Alti. I need to get some like classic Altis. Like sometimes they're not too bad. I don't mind. Like first said, there's like a little oomph to it. Like this is basically my folder right here. I mean, it's changed how it's organized, but this is roughly it for like cards and stuff. I got DM and then SOD, so like I can look for them fairly quickly. I should just delete. Actually, I'm gonna cut these because I have a card art folder. I can just dump them in. There they are. The armed dragons. So that's how my things are organized. They probably could be organized a little bit better. But then once I start changing like how they're organized, it starts messing up like old project files, which is not terribly fun. Okay, all the ones up to Dark Factory. Looks like a Dark Factory. It sounds like a pain in the butt, but considering, each, like, let's say each history episode, I cover what, like, 1 to 3 sets maximum. Or, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! CG stuff, it's like 1 set at a time. I want to get an ulti of this guy, Charcoal. I don't know. I think that's the ulti looks kind of nice. I'll grab this one. Yeah, I really just don't have like any ultis, which is a shame. To Goblin Calligrapher. Ah! Too fast, too fast! And like a lot of these cards, I have no idea what they are. But hopefully this stream doesn't take, 5 hours to do like kind of the previous ones, just given the set length and the set contents. Though potentially next week, I'll remember this and have to do it. Do it before the stream if I get the time. I remember when this set first came out. Um, it was really fascinating for me. Just seeing a lot of the two. Well, there's a couple of stuff that really stood out to me. Okay, everything to hammer shot. One was like some of the like the main cards, like Horus, Armed Dragon, that stuff. I thought that was like really badass. Like Horus level 8. I mean, goodness. I don't typically get the alties. These cards, I don't know what they're technically they're classified under. These like upgraded ones. Did they mention kind of the retrains, I guess? But they're basically upgraded ones. These really stuck out to me as like, because like at the time, it's not like we got a bunch of stuff like that. So it was like, oh, they're taking these like old cards, but they're making them like bigger and better, and like that just sounded awesome. And then Red Eyes Black Chick was probably the card that stuck out to me the most. Of just being like, oh, they can make other like related cards like that, because it wasn't like we had a Red Eyes archetype or a, like a Blue Eyes Dark Magician. So that really stuck out to me. Let's see. Life Bear, Hammer Shot, FE Slump. I have the horses. And then to Malistol. Got a lot of the set trying to get all different levels. Yeah, I mean that's a good marketing campaign, really. I mean, it's like you got to get the level cards. You got to get the whole set if you want to play the cards. Though I don't know if that was necessarily their intention. I mean, it could have been. Like, there's definitely an argument for it that they made it out of, with selling cards in mind. But they could have. I mean, we already have the alties and stuff. And this was the first set where Konami was. Oh god, that ulti. Oh goodness, that is beautiful. I do love a good ultimate rare. Shit, I need to get some of these alties. Jeez, they're just so expensive. I don't want to fork out the cash. But yeah, this was the first set that was like worldwide, like where the OCG and TCG like met. Let's see, Master of Oz, have Mind Crush. So, like I guess they needed to ideally stack the sets more since they weren't doing these like tiny sets every so often. Like, God, these alties are just so pretty. Now, this wasn't the first set for alties in the OCG. Now, they had a lot of alties beforehand. But this was the first one that they where they swapped out the core set from secret rares to alties, and they wouldn't have secret rares back for quite some time, barring like side sets. I got the Mystic. I don't have a non-alti for. I'll get a picture of that. And then pretty much everything to sandwich. We'll do these. Yeah, null and void. Guess it was renamed as Muko at some point. Oh, it's not been printed on a physical card. Interesting. Well, they need to reprint this guy then. I think some of the altis around this time, some of the previous cards. Yeah, you can't beat a good alti. I mean, I think alti and secrets have a similar uh like thing with them where they look good in regards to how they are foiled. Some are foiled really good with like layering and texture, and you especially see that with altis because secret rares have that secret rare kind of wave to them where altis has like it's like more of a lighting. They're not explain it like too terribly well. Like see something like this, and it's like this guy pops right, like the white on like the black. Or you look at a card, like one of my favorites, probably Treeborn Frogs Alti. Pre-numeral, like look at this. Like yeah, it looks like cool art. Then you make it Alti, all of a sudden it's like holy crap, Lois. Like let me bring up Treeborn Frog. Slime. Like look at this. Like look at this like ring around it. Like this, it's like a puddle of water almost. Like it's the air. Like that stuff like that just like sticks out to me. Froggy Force Field. Oh, Froggy Force Field. I'm pretty sure that's the same monster in the art, which is cool. Okay, I got Sandwich. And after that, it's just Ultimate Baseball Kid. What? No, go back. Go back. Please. Wikipedia. Then I can click on this one. Like, I really don't own many alties. I think I own like 5. I own Necro Valley because I got that as a gift, which is really pretty. I pulled a insect, um, like the Insector Sword Insect Caliber from a pack. I know I have a couple. I think I have like Gauntlet Launcher. Like there are cheap ones you can buy out there. Like they're not all expensive, especially like the cards that are just trash and a bit later released. That's a funny card. Is this different in the OCG? Oh boy, it is. Look at that. It's like Kuwabara and Togoro. Why didn't we get that? Just because they're like they're thugs or something? We should have got that art. Lost art when. I like the TCG. I mean, I like how silly they look. I think the silly ones fit Yu-Gi-Oh better, but at least give me the option. Like that's what they should have had. If if they weren't censored and if they thought like potentially they should have just really had like the uncensored ones as like high rarity versions of it. You know, honestly, that would be I think that would be pretty cool if they did something like that where it was low rarity, one art, high rarity, like the really cool art. That would be cool. Okay, got every card. Let me unclick these two guys because those are ulti variants. Can I drag them? I can. I think more mystical occult personality. I think this is every card. No, wait, something's wrong. What? Wait, no, that's right. That's right. That's right. Everything's right. Oh, I gotta log in. Why didn't you tell me that earlier? I think I have an account. I'm gonna drag this over here real quick. Yeah, well, I was looking at my my folder and it said 62, but then I realized I unclicked because I have two alti copies of cards. All right, make a template. I don't know if I have to do that or I'll just make my own template. Create public, I guess. Card. I don't know why I can't read the text there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Soul of the Duelist. SOD, sure. Yeah, I figured I should make one so people can use it. A lot of them that exist already are kind of trash. Like some of them have cards, some of them have art, some of them have extra cards for some reason. I don't need a. I mean, I guess I could do a cover photo. Don't look at these card art. Cover cards. Horus. Sure. Hide extra rows. I cannot create a. Whatever. I'll just do it afterwards. Submit. Hello? Oh, it's loading. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, no, it's I've been lucky thus far. I think the last like one or two I kinda had to dig for. I was kinda drained this would happen. Hey, there we go. Only took 20 freaking minutes, which I suppose I guess the last stream took probably roughly around that time. To like just to chat with the peeps. There we go. This looks weird. It looks small compared to the last ones, but I think that's because it is small compared to the last ones. Although the cards are kind of cut out though. Like if I put yeah, they are cut short. But that's okay. At least though, I have all the cards here, so if I need to open one up to look at them, I immediately have them all here. Because I have a file I found on the internet like a while back that's like has like a ton of cards, but it's all just like the general like Yugioh.com cards. So if I need to like quickly find a card, I can grab it from there. But it's not sorted in any way, and they also look too clean. Yo, Mus, what's up? Welcome back to the stream. SOD is kind of like a proto GX right before I lost my name. Actually, that you're on the right track. That would be the one you're probably thinking of though. That would fit that bill more is Flaming Eternity. Um, because while the Lost Millennium is the first GX set, includes GX cards like Ancient Gear Golem and Elemental Heroes, and Flaming Eternity did not. The Flaming Eternity, let me show you this. This is kind of something interesting you might not have known. Flaming Eternity, the Japanese promotional thing, had Jaden on the cover. I can't move this up or down. It's not centered, whatever. Yeah, Jaden was on the cover of Flaming Eternity in Japan, which again, while we all consider Lost Millennium to be the first GX set, I do believe that this set at Lyrical Star, what's up? I do believe Flaming Eternity at some point in like Konami's development, they just decided to start advertising it as a GX set because the GX would have premiered like I don't know, like a couple months before this date, November 25th. So I think they just slapped Jaden on the cover and just shipped it out. Because the first time we would get E-Heroes would be in like a promotional set in December in the OCG. Which is kind of weird, right? You look at this like, wait, is this the first GX set? Well, like, nothing in the set is telling me otherwise. There's literally nothing like GX in this set. So this is so Flaming Eternity is kind of like that transitionary set in a way, at least from an advertising perspective, not necessarily a card perspective. But that's why you're here. I teach people things. Mr. Janjo. Mr. Zone. Is Zone my last name? I don't know. But we only have 2 likes thus far. I'm sure we can get up to like 5 likes or something, surely. Is there a villain in the 5Ds whose last name is Zone? I haven't seen Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. I I'm still I say I'm still Z1. Zone. Oh god, he's a Hellraiser. He looks like a Bankai. And this just looks this is just like Dr. Robotnik, isn't it? Yeah, I hear a lot of really good things about 5Ds. I just need to get through GX, which I haven't watched GX in years, but I still have the episode I'm stuck on, except I can't reach it because the website might be dead. Uh which I just found out. I was trying to get I was like maybe halfway, maybe like a third or fourth in season 3, the one where they go to like the like demon realm or whatever. And I was struggling to get through that. I feel like I could watch it. So my mindset with because I was watching the dub version, and I know like the last season isn't dubbed, so I have to watch that subbed anyway. Um, but I I kind of see it in a different lens now. While I was watching through, I'm like, this is really bad. This is kind of hot garbage. It's just like mindless duels and like yeah, you watch or at least even read through the original Yu-Gi-Oh! You're like, wow, there's actual like substance here. Um, there's a lot of fun like just stuff in GX too. I really like the concept of GX and a lot of things, but it definitely feels like it's just one big marketing ploy. Um, but I kind of see it in the lens, at least the dub anyway, specifically. I kind of see it in the lens now of it's kind of just like a parody, right? It's kind of like it's abridging itself in a way. I think that lens might make it more entertaining for me to watch. I think season 3 is the best season of GX. Yeah, because I think I don't know if I got to the part where Jaden becomes like an evil dude or like because like they're looking for Jesse or something. I remember Jaden I think was going against some Archfiend guy. This was like 3 4 years ago. Like I don't know if I should start GX at the beginning and watch through the sub if that would be better because I would like to watch through GX. And I feel like I said this last from too, but I think it would have been so fun if YouTube isn't how it is and I could just watch this stuff on stream. Like season 1, like I enjoy like the Shadow Riders stuff, right? You know, the mystery of this evil organization and stuff. But then it was like, oh, it's the like I guess this is spoiler territory for anyone who hasn't seen it, but Professor Banner is like revealed to be one of the Shadow Riders. Like he should have been the main villain of that season. Like he should have been like the leader of everything. And then they introduced was it like the superintendent Kagemaru, which it's like an old dude in a spider body and he gets like super buff and it's like where does this come from? What is this about? Like the whole season should have been about Banner and Yugi battling Zane. Like that should have been that. And then season 2 with the Society of Light, like that stuff was kind of cool, right? A new uh class kind of thing of all these like cultists. Like that's a cool concept. Like I dug that. Like the whole concept for the show is silly anyway, right? Dual school on a volcanic island, and there's other ones too. There's like North Academy in the manga. It's more like I think it's West Academy in the manga. Like that's like a whole thing. The manga is another thing that's really bizarre. Like the manga, I feel like was really going to some interesting places, but then it just like took a nosedive because I think they realized that like, oh crap, we only have like one volume left. We gotta wrap up the story because that was a really cool idea of like it seemed like they were going towards Jaden facing against the evil demon, and then Chaz was of him trying to beat Zane, become like the top duelist. Like I find GX conceptually like very well. It just feels like they can't escape this pressure, this bubble around them, and trying to be like its own cool series in favor of just really dumb marketing and like very surface level anime bullshit. Which is why I'm curious like to watch the sub of it because maybe at least through that I don't have to listen to like the voice actors so much. That's kind of rough. Oh, you want to see something cool though? I might make a video on this maybe in a few months because I say a few months due to scheduling things because I schedule my content. Did you know in when was this like 2019 or so? How familiar are you with Takahashi's work? First printing June 2022. Wow. Have you ever wondered what Takahashi would have done if he wrote Spider-Man? Because here you go. It's not just Spider-Man too. Where is Iron Man? He did Iron Man. Freaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Iron Man. And they fight an evil where's the big Yeah, they fight this like evil scientist with deathful metal eyes uh of the Kaiho Corporation. It's basically Spider-Man and Iron Man fight Kaiba. So I need to give this like a read through and then I like to do like a video on it or something. That'd be fun. That's kind of neat. It's about like sharing that. See, we got 4 likes currently. The Takahashi was like up to like a ton of stuff. Apparently, he really wanted to do like a Marvel thing, and they like asked him. He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." Which is crazy to think about. I never knew he did Spider Man. Yo, History YGO, what's up? SOD is the start of releasing sets more like how the OCG did. Yeah, and this is the first one where they converge, not do like 2 sets in one. It's like, hey, let's just release a solitary 60 card set, screw number zeros, screw number 61 and above. Yeah. And that's kind of interesting to think about, isn't it? Like if they kept going on, had SOD and RDS be combined, like what would they pick as the cover card, I wonder? The creator or Horus? As a Western comics and manga, very happy about it. Yeah, I mean that's really good. I'm a big fan of both. I don't read as much as I would like. It's because I'm a busy guy and I get distracted easily. But there's a lot to like. I mean, I read One Piece weekly. Like at the time I like, I read my comics. What was the last? God, I think it's been a while since I read like a comic because yeah, I do like DC and Marvel. Oh, I'm actually reading. It's back there. The Stan Lee Steve Ditko Spider-Man run. I'm on issue like 7 or something. One Piece is so good. I've been reading One Piece. I remember the first chapter One Piece I read. It was I don't remember the exact chapter name, but it was during the Syrup Town Village or Syrup Village, whatever it's called. That arc, the first one with Usopp, and it was the chapter where Zoro fights the 2 cat thugs. Yeah, the you can tell how quickly they improve on a lot of things from issue 1. Um, but I just find like just what they're able to do, even given how aged it is, it still come across like really really well. I think Spider-Man's a great character, and you can see that like pretty early on of how they're able to make him different from like the Fantastic Four or Iron Man or these characters. Just this team that deal with a lot of shit, but he can't really do anything with it, and he's really angry about it. But he still has these really cool powers, and he still has to like balance everything. Oh, Spider-Man's the best superhero ever. I'm also a big fan of um, Superman comics too. I think Batman's really good too, but Superman is always one that like is just it is crazy just how many people just don't understand Superman as a character because I feel like he's such like a big icon. People don't read the comics, so the majority of people think he's like space Jesus alien Goku guy, and it's like, dude, read the comics. He's like the complete opposite of Man of Steel. It is insane. And he has such fun stories too. I also really like the Flash. The Flash is really good because the Flash for me is like the fun craziness of Superman, but with the emotional like intrigue of Batman. Like, I'm a big fan of the Flash. Like Green Lantern's really good too. With all like the space epics and stuff, like the Yellow Lantern Corps and like the Black Lanterns, all that stuff. Wally West. Yeah, Wally West is when they definitely were hitting their stride. But which is funny because I feel like most things, automatically go to Barry. Yeah, Jeff Johns. I still need to read. Was it Rage of the Red Lanterns? I read this good run recently. It was might have been Jeff Johns' Swamp Thing. That was really good. Big Jeff Johns. I want to read what's the guy? Um Dennis O'Neil Batman, I believe. That's like the like 70s Batman run. That one I've been wanting to read because I've heard a lot of really good things about that. Oh, I'm thinking of more. Yeah. That sounds right. Well, like I had like the Comixology app on the phone here, but they keep like changing things, right? It's like, oh, now it's like it's a DC app, it's a Marvel app, it's it's on Amazon, it's not on Amazon. Like I don't know where I'm supposed to read any of these things anymore. Is there just like like I really like the service too, because the way you can like move around the pages and stuff like that's really cool. Like I could get a thing for like a year, because you do those like yearly subscriptions, I think. But I'd also be worried I would just like get it and just never use it. You were coming like, oh crap, I was supposed to use that. But maybe I should. I had a lot more reading time at some of my old jobs when I was just sitting around doing nothing. But now I work from home, so I'm like, like what's because like you have to get both, right? Marvel Unlimited first month for just basically a buck 9.99 per month. Annual plus. What's the difference? Exclusive kit. Oh, you get swag with it. Yeah, basically, I'm sandwich number one. Yo, Vickman, what's up? I mean, like, I when I'm not working, I'm probably working. Which is to say, when I'm not like working at work stuff, I'm working at YouTube stuff. When I'm not doing that, I just like honestly, I don't have time to like play games or like stuff anymore. Because honestly, when I'm want to relax, I just want to freaking lay down and like put on a YouTube video, watch some Yugioh from Zero, or like put on a movie or something. I recently got check this out. Like I just want to rot and do nothing at like this point, and not even like think about anything. This is imported from Australia. It is a Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray of the Super Mario Brothers '90s movie. This is cool. This has comes with the 4K. Well, the other disc is in my PS5. But the Blu-ray disc of this comes with a work print, which I watched last night. I watched the movie like 5 times in the last week. Um, the work print's really kind of fascinating. This movie, like, I did not like this as a kid, but I really appreciate it nowadays for like what it did to accomplish and everything. Like it's just like it's crazy, right? Like the production design, the special effects, the creativity behind it. Like they really got a studded cast all around to really make it because they weren't trying to make a movie about the video game, right? Like that's the wrong mindset because that's not what they were going for. They were going for a movie that was about these two plumber brothers that wind up in a fantastical world and have to save a princess. Like they were focusing more on like the core of the story there and the characters, and I really vibe with that. Yeah, the ending was supposed to be they're supposed to fight like a big dinosaur Bowser on the Brooklyn Bridge, but they can't kind of ran out of time and money. which is a shame that they went way over budget because I believe it's was a co-directed, I believe, and apparently the production designer he could not get a straight answer from like these directors. They would ask like he'd ask one, they say red, the other one would say blue, and so the guy essentially had to create like way more things, which just balloon the budget. On top of them, not being able to get uh, like ILM, so they essentially had to create their own effects studio on the spot, basically. Like if this came out a year before, it would look way different. If this came out a year after, it would look way different. It was such like a weird sweet spot of a time to make things. Um, like it's the first movie that used effects to like clone people, basically. Um, and then like Disney like bought it out to just to like release it and stuff, and they barely even advertised it or anything like that because like what do they care? They don't really have much writing on it. They didn't make it, and like it's kind of a shame. It kind of got like screwed in a lot of ways. Like even if some directors or not directors, some of the actors like Bob Hoskins, as famously really didn't like it and drank on set and all that stuff. He still gave it his all. Gave it his really over the top performance. But it's still fun. Like all the characters still do their jobs. Dennis Hopper's great. Um, I think the most underrated performance in that film was Fiona Shaw as like his wife. Like she slays. It was revealed that this was a pitch for the Marvel movie. Tended rejected. Well, they let them make the movie. That's the thing though. Like apparently there was like a bunch of other people that was like talking about making a movie, but the I don't know if it was like the directors or like I think it was one of the producers or something like went to Japan and they're like he mentions in one of the commentaries, one of the many commentaries on this, and they were like, oh, why should we have you make the film? And he's like, because I'm here. I am in Japan asking you guys, and they're like, all right, let's do it. Oh, the alternate ending was a rejection thing. I get that. I'm sure it was like a mix of things, which is unfortunate. Yo, Lee, what's up? Should I make a blue eyes deck to counter combine with the allies deck? Yeah, go for it. Why not? Yeah, I mean, you could tell there's a lot of things that they really want to do with like the budget that they're kind of unable to do. In fact, it's kind of fascinating. Like the whole Dino Hatton set was in a cement factory. Like, isn't that wild? Original ending of the movie was Mark telling a story of what happened. All right, well that yeah, they use that as the that's like the after credits ending, isn't it? Well, it's the two Japanese guys talking to Iggy and Spike, and they're like, "Oh, it should be called the Super Koopa Bros," and they're like, and the Japanese people look at each other and they're like, "Super Mario Bros." Yeah, that's like the after credits sequence. 69, nice. How much was it? DC Unlimited? Yeah, I totally forgot that was a thing in the movie, but yeah, it's a thing in the movie. I haven't, I haven't even touched the freaking. Hey, I enjoy talking to all you guys, so I don't. I would take. How much does this freaking cost? I already said joins. I just wanna. I just wanna see how much. How much does this thing? I think I tend to prefer DC over like the singular stories, but there's some good like I really like Spider Man, like Craven's Last Hunt. Like I cannot find a price for this. This should not be that hard. Grim Hunt was pretty good too. I do like Grim Hunt. Like Grim Hunt with the gauntlet before that, like that whole story arc I really liked. This year's around $70. Goodness, that's almost like 200 a year between the two. Ugh, I don't read them. I'm already pretty good with like not having many subscriptions, right? It's like Amazon Prime, uh, Adobe, which I need for work, so technically an expense. I'm currently doing like YouTube Red or Prime, whatever. YouTube's the premium is that what it's called now? Because I use it enough. Yeah, like if you read a ton. Like I have one of my friends, like we talk about comics, fairly often. Egg and Jake been a couple of my like older videos, lowest subscription prices. Yeah, I need to just get back. It's for me. It's like it's a motion thing, right? I just gotta keep moving. Keep moving. Like this. Like this is what I'm currently like reading because I prefer physical media, but like honestly for comics, I think I'd be fine with just doing digitally like this. This is my bookmark right here. I'm like I think I'm in the middle of like the Vulture's second issue. Like this is like a lot of fun stuff. I like the Vulture. It's like, aha! Now I can fly slightly faster, and I can turn. Haha! Like it's really dumb villains, but I appreciate Stanley's writing for them. Basically, they'll never know I'm building this anti-gravity device to escape prison. Yaha! I'm flying. Spider-Man will never get me now. Or like freaking was like issue like 2 or 3 with the Tinkerer. It was real. He was aliens originally. It's like, well, this just jumped the shark like 3 issues in, and then of course, like later down the line, it's revealed that it wasn't actual aliens. It was a mirage. But for when you're reading this weekly, they were aliens. Yeah, I like what they did with the Tinkerer in Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? Where like it's his friend has like the purple techno kind of stuff. I've been loving those Spider-Man games on PS5. I think the first one's still the best, but yes, they're all really good. I can't wait for that freaking story DLC. I think it's going to be Carnage, which I'm excited for because Carnage is probably my favorite Spider-Man villain. Yeah, yeah, definitely get around playing those. If you got like a PS4 or PS5, or I think they ported the first two, one and Miles Morales on PC. Like I believe my very first email address it was like Carnage Guy. It's AOL. If you can believe that. I really enjoyed the Venom movies too. I thought they were just a classic throwback to early and mid 2000s superhero schlock. Yeah, he's crazy, which is kind of a shame because as much as I'm a fan of like Maximum Carnage, that story kind of sucks. Like Carnage as a character is not particularly deep, but I don't know, just big bright red dude with axes and super villainous. Like how can you not love that? Oh, Spider-Man 2, that movie. Oh my god. I remember when Spider-Man 3 came out. I was the first one in that theater. I was the first in line. It was downtown Washington D.C. Crawl and stuff. Yeah, it was isn't it like Planet Symbiote or something like that? I can't keep track with all the stuff. There's like Agent Venom and I know like in because like in Spider-Man 2, like the video game, they I really liked how they incorporated anti Venom in that. Yeah, the Raimi movies. Like I watched Spider-Man 2 by itself, like a year, like maybe like 2 years ago, and just by itself, it is absolutely incredible. Oh, I also realized that I accidentally imported the two. alties. Oh no. Guess I can't edit it now. Or I can't edit. I don't think I can edit individually though. Whatever. Okay, we should probably start this list. We should probably start this list. You know why, Gio? We should just like have just like like a whatever podcast. Just talk about dumb shit. Ugh. Maybe get more views on my current podcast. Who needs the list anyways? Honestly, like I'm having a hoot. Like I rather talk to people and enjoy myself than being like, all right, gotta do the list until it's like, like 10 o'clock at night when it's like, all right, my old man bedtime. Which reminds me, I turn 30 next month. Not looking forward to that. You can't think of a single S card in the set. So I will say, this might be a similar thing to Ancient Sanctuary, where I think the list tiers might need to be skewed a little bit. Yeah, they're tough. I mean, the only of like the in the zone stuff, the only one that I think the JDZ one did like okay on release, given it was the first episode. But the only like one I would consider that did fairly, and this is just like above average, I would say, would be the most serious Duelist one. Like even other ones, like I thought like the when I got Alvarado and Spicer on, I thought those would do better because they're SJC champions. I don't know. I mean, I've sent out asks for some other people. I just never hear back from certain people, which is unfortunate. Mine Crush. Crush. Now, Mine Crush ever banned? I feel like, yeah, we just need to find like a good name for the podcast. I would like no, it was never banned, but it was limited a chunk like throughout two different periods. I know Jama King was popular, but it wasn't really like played. Hammer Shot, that was limited, right? Because like gadgets? No, it was not. Yo, Shadow of the Moon, what's up? Shadow of the Moon. Heavy Slump. Heavy Slump's good. It's not like the best thing ever. Mobius would I think would be up there. Not that he's busted or anything either. Yeah, it's like, is there any like actually busted cards in this set? I mean, Mind Crush is Mind Crush is probably Mind Crush might be the one that's been limited. Like Hollow Life Barrier is good. Astra of Oz is good. Dark Factory is good. Love set one of your favorites. Low Monster was so awesome. Yeah, I know for a while in Go format people were like messing around with Dark Mimics. Because it's like a level 1 dark. It can also like upgrade to give you additional draws, but that was kind of for Go Control. That was kind of Go Control's decline. Whereas Game Do Support, yeah, the Red Eyes one really stuck out to me when the set first came out. It was like Red Eyes and like the upgraded like retrains and then the level monsters, mainly Horus and Armed Dragon. For the longest time, I thought Armed Dragon level 10 was like in DM era. Wasn't until like a while later I kind of realized, oh wait, no, that card was released much later in I believe Duelist Pack Chaz. It was kind of expensive for a while too, but then I got like a bunch of reprints, which was nice. Although it made the value of mine go down, which what are you gonna do? But now there's a nice secret rare print of it in Speed Duels, so I always thought that Arm Dragon level 10 would have been really fascinating in GOAT format. Used to try to always use him, but realized he wasn't worth summoning. Gonna be a special summon from the deck. Yeah, they have a lot of problems. Like I think most people tend to find like armed dragons. Like honestly, level 5 is usually enough. Like maybe run a 7, like a single one, if you want to run it. Whereas Horus, like the whole game plan is getting out 8 because that effect is that powerful. Yeah, like Swordsman level 2, like what does 4 do? Like, even like Ultimate Insect, you have to wait to get the future levels. Like Dark Mimic was pretty good. In terms of like average eat stuff. Sandwich is kind of funny given the state of Witch. Top 100, 500 regional with a Wind Armed Dragon deck. Nice. Was that when the set came out? 2006. Interesting. Way after, but hey, a win's a win. I mean, top 100 anyway. And that's you beat 400 other people. That sounds pretty good. Like there are a lot of good cards in the set, but like it was honestly for the next like this is kind of the first set really, which I mean, I guess it set the standards moving forward where there's usually not much that really shakes the game because a lot of the cards that would really shake up the meta would it'd be more eh, it'd be more compounded reasonings, which is why I think Perfect Circle and Trooper format, like GX format, didn't really get started until 2007 because it's had to wait for all these like subpar sets to finally build up a certain meta and list to hit certain cards. Yeah, Ancient Sanctuary is a bit rough, but at, at the very least, Ancient Sanctuary is like right after IOC, which is fair enough, right? Like you're probably not going to hit that high immediately after, nor do you probably want to, and maybe that's what they had in mind was to like kind of pull back a little bit because maybe they realize like okay, maybe we need to cool down on these cards, and maybe that they had that mindset just perpetually moving forward up until like Phantom Darkness, until they realize, hey, maybe we should just drop a bomb in this. Because even like Flaming Eternity like had good cards too. Uh, like more impactful cards, sure. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of yeah. It's like like what are cards? Because there's really not much. It's like this is definitely said you could probably. I think a lot of it you could rate easily, but a lot of it's I think would just come down to semantics. Like it is this set does feel like it'd be a lot more skewed than AST was. So I guess the question is how much do we want to skew it? Yeah, FET had a lot of good cards. Deck Dev, Phoenix, Vortex. But that's not this set. I do like the vibe of this set, though. I think the vibe you get from these cards is really cool. Like, do we skew it like in ways of like, do we just give a card an S tier for the set, or do we not give cards S tiers if they don't like as a whole? Because that's the thing. Like, I feel like Mind Crush would be an S because the way we skewed it, I believe for AST was that S tier was like, all right, if the did the card get at least limited, and Mind Crush is still a card. I think you don't see Mind Crush nowadays because of the ruling change, but that could always get changed back. Konami felt like it. Yeah, like other cards like the longevity. I mean, I think Dark Factory is a contender. Potentially Hammer Shot would be like the two I would think of. Like, let me look up Dark Factory. Eh, the Dark Factory wasn't used as much as I thought it would have been used. That's a little surprising. I would have thought there would have been like a deck or two. All right, see you later, Yugioh from Zeros. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Hammer Shot was used a lot, mainly throughout. It was mainly through like gadget and like burn decks and stuff. But still, that's a lot more than like a lot of other cards. Yeah, well, that's why I thought it got limited originally because of gadgets and the other cards getting limited. Well, I guess I thought Hammer Shot was okay. Mobius was used a ton. What other card could I possibly think of? I mean, that's kind of it, right? Cards I would see like maybe Hollowed Life Barrier. Okay, it was decent chunk, but it's mostly like side deck stuff. Like that's too terribly bad. Yeah, it was kind of used in good regard throughout the first like 3 years of release. So let's see. So like a Mobius. Dark see well Dark Factory. Like I would think Dark Factory would be like a B tier card, right? Like it's good. It hasn't seen like much success beyond very specific decks, but I haven't really seen much other than like a couple like top decks. Yeah, I do agree with Hammer Shot. Mystic Swordsman has like proven like especially like in Go just how good he is. Yeah, Lee. Yeah, definitely go for it, Lee. If you want to do it, go for it. See if it works. Horse is an interesting case. I feel like Hall Life Bear and Mobius at least go in A. Where's Moby? There you are. Was let's see. Heavy Slump, I'm a little curious. A couple. I feel like Heavy Slump I put in B too. It's definitely it's an interesting card. It can pull out wins once in a while. It's a little more of an iffy pick. drop these alties just over here. Yeah, I was kind of complaining about other lists being a little like having some weird cards, and here I am accidentally dumping 2 alties in there. Mass Dragon's a weird one. It's definitely a lot better than Edison because I feel like for a while it just didn't really have any good targets. That's kind of the unfortunate part. Like it was using a couple decks. 1, 2, 3. I would say like yeah, like 3 regionals, like the 2010 2012 period. In terms of like actual like uh, like Yu-Gi-Oh events. Was Charcoal and Pachi using anything? No. Yeah, I would say Mass Dragon would be B and B just for like its basic effect. And I think I'd throw in the mimics. I think I throw them in B too. And also Howling Insect. Just for that basic thing. Three I'm just gonna like throw in with 1. I think they're basically just tied together. You know, you can run a 1, but if you want to run 3, that's it's fine, I guess. It's like what would be considered like a C? Maybe like Trojan Horse. He's what, like 2 tributes for an Earth monster. Yeah, I think Trojan Horse is like a very basic card. I would think. Abyssal Desig. I think I'm thinking of a different card. I think I'm thinking of Herald of the Abyss. Yeah, I'm thinking of a different card. Fusion weapons. Fusion ritual weapon are pretty fun cards too. Not that they're meta, but there was a Nats in Sweden in 2016 that used fusion weapon. What evil? What is this? This must have been like a whatever event. This looks like a whatever deck. Yeah, that's just a whatever event. I think the thing with ritual and fusion weapon is that they are good stat buffs, but it's never like basically you need them if you're running like a really stupid strategy, pretty much, right? Like they're not bad cards or anything. Yeah, like I know what they do. I'm just I'm feeling like C because like they are more specific than just using on a card like Axe and Spare or United We Stand, Mage Power, that kind of stuff. Like they're good, like they're fun cards if you want to play them, but I don't feel like they're really anything more than fun per se. Even though yes, they do give certain cards a good boost, but it's not like those decks that you're already running this card in would make it a meta deck. Yo, Dio Sama, it's you, Dio. What's up? What's going on? Oh, Drama King is probably I would rank high. You know, the Ojama lock. You're just reminding me that I really do want to get around to reading through JoJo's. I've only seen like the anime. Are they making a Steel Ball Run anime? I don't know what's up with that. Demotion and Mage Power. That was Demotion. Don't remember that card. Spell this crazy machine deck and goat swing everybody in ranked. Ooh, what are you playing? Like Machine OTK? Like Reasoning Gate? Or Drama King able to be dropped by Stein? They can drop him by Stein. I guess this is kind of like the main thing. I mean, you can play him in Ojama decks. And Oz is just, you know, until like Blue Eyes, he's really powerful. Until we got like, Blue Eyes Ultimate. Yeah, those machine decks are crazy. Like I lost in a tournament recently, from a blowback dragon. Ugh. Yeah, but that 3K attack from Ojama King though. Cause I'm just wondering, do I put? I'm feeling, I'm feeling B. Summoning Gatling. They okay. Another Konami needs to reprint Gatling Dragon already. There's no reason why they haven't reprinted Gatling Dragon in a set. Gatling's really good. I have one copy. I would like two copies, ideally. Ideally, I like a whole playset, but that's those cards are not cheap. They cost money. Put that over there. Yeah, but like having a card like in a side deck is like one thing. Actually playing it is another thing. It has seen a chunk of uses. But again, I wonder people are actually I mean like Metamorphosis, but even again, like I mean, I can't tell you the last time I saw someone actually summon a Drama King like in a goat match. Yeah, but even like Ojama decks are rogue at best. And Master of Oz, would eventually get outclassed. We need more Master of Oz support. Yeah, Master of Oz, like no like real meta play. Goals from what's up. I mentioned of Drama King being broken in speed duels. I gotta break that streak when it matters. I mean, we don't count speed duels because like if we did, some cards would be a little bit different. I I'd be okay with putting Ojama A though. That sounds like that's what people are leaning towards. Yeah, Sandwich feels like it's printed a little too late. Like when I think of bad cards, I think of like Goblin Calligrapher. Or Skull Dog Marin. I just want to look at his stats again. Yeah, like 2K by this point, it's not gonna do you any good. But I think Charcoal and Patchy has some like kind of unique stuff. Level 1 Fire Pyro, 2100 defense. Is that worth the D tier though? I feel like I've seen people mess around with like a tech in something, but I don't recall what. Like, what would I consider like a D tier card? You know, Unshaven Angler, that'd be up with like Trojan Horse. Or for Underdog. Yeah, I feel like Apache like just generally has more than like the other cards do. It's like freaking Goblin Calligrapher. I mean, it's cool that it's a dark, but it doesn't have anything else going for it aside from a dark level 1. Like, you can make way more use with 2100 defense than like a 2k defense with worse stats. Hardened Underdog, true, true. Did anyone ever run Spirit Barrier? No. It's kind of a neat effect, right? Well, you control monster make no battle damage. I mean, it's essentially a tornado wall. Oh yeah, we did get Sasuke in the set too. Ninja. He was using 2 decks, one in 05, one in 06. Yeah, I put him in B. He's clearly not as useful as like Mystic Swordsman, but good card. So this is for like the 2 tribute thing, I think so. For the these, I think it's just the 2 in this set. Yes, I mean Sasuke is good. I mean for the time, for his specific deck. But there are better warriors. You know, like Blade Knight, I think, for example. What about Inferno Fire Blast? That's a weird card. Like, it's good burn damage. Inferno, not using really anything. It's all kind of does. And you can't destroy monsters with it. Which FTK? Yeah, it's a neg 1. There's nothing in top decks about it. Yo, Menino Globes, what's up? What is going on, my dude? Yeah, like it's a. I feel like it's a card that it's never quite there when you need it, like when you want it, right? Like it technically does nothing, and you need a very specific card on the field, and it does prevent you from attacking. So I feel like there's a lot of downsides with the card, with Inferno Fire Blast. Yeah, like there's what was it called? Like Red Eyes Burn. Isn't that a card? So like you could, I mean, there are like burn strategies. It wasn't like Archfiend Black Skull like does burn damage, but that kind of is the like an overall issue with Red Eyes decks, right? Like they you never know quite what Konami wants you to do with it. They have all these different like strategies, which I guess it's fun that you can like do different things, but yeah, they never commit to something. You need a commit. Like it's all about commitment, guys. If a glove doesn't fit, you must commit. What the heck is this?
If they don't have any hand traps, I win. I can send these 2 cards to the graveyard to go into Comet Dragon.
Oh, hey, I'm
Comet
live.
Dragon, okay. And then activate Comet Dragon.
Rise FTK. I mean, this is Master Duel. And this is, I don't know. I don't know if that means the card's like any better. But using in an obscure FTK. Again, like, I don't think the card's like inherently bad. Like the burn damage, like there's a lot of downsides, but the damage is good. I just feel like it's a D tier card because you are essentially having a very specific card. I just feel like there's more downsides than there are like positives. Like even if you can, I mean, like sure, you could use Goblin Calligrapher with Metamorphosis and then banish that in a light for BLS, but that doesn't mean. I mean, I don't know. Just a neg 1 that prevents you from attacking that has to be activated with a monster, a high level monster on the field is certainly asking for a lot, but you can use it. I know some people have messed around with Mass Dragon, I believe, because Mass Dragon has some like Dragon and Source, I believe, with Source is not in this set. They say Mass Dragon and Element Dragon, if I said that incorrectly. Or Element Dragon, because Element Dragon you'd play in like fire decks mainly to get that 2k attack. Which is solved for like dragon monsters. Or at least for like a fire deck, I guess. Because Soldier, Element Soldier, like he's kind of decent in Earth, but he doesn't get an attack boost, which is tough with 1500, especially like in an Earth deck where like their main thing is beating over cards. I feel like I give him a D and him a C. That's what I'm thinking. Oh yeah, baby. I don't know why I said that's so weird. We bring out the Bree Dragon, Debris Dragon. My Streamlabs is not updating as much as my YouTube is. That's weird. I refresh chat. Let's try that. That was weird. Like I mean, I was looking at that, but I noticed like, oh wait, I missed a lot of comments. Never been a triple red ice meteor skull dragon fusion. That'll be interesting. More fusions, please. Gimmick nowadays, but it does exist. I mean, sure, I guess, but still, I don't know. I feel like that's also, it's also partially due to like other cards too. Oh, Master Dragon was a quantity in early Dragon Sinker, if I recall correctly. Not like nothing in top decks anyway. Maybe like nowadays, people, like modern Edison. Master Dragon is Dragon staple on release. Yeah, and also just like the general effect of Master Dragon's good too, right? Just like a floater. Like you really can't go wrong. Like certain like older formats with just a card that floats into a certain card. Yeah, that with like Armed Dragon level 5, or like you float into level 3, then immediately evolve like the following standby phase. Boom. Baseball Kid, Inferno Reckless Strategies. Ultimate Baseball Kid. No top decks. I feel like I've seen people mess around with this, right? Getting 1,000 attack for each fire on the field, except itself. Except another fire monster to the graveyard inflict 500 damage. So it's essentially like it's a fire kind of cannon soldier that can gain attack. So I mean, yeah, just two other fire monsters and it gains. I mean, use this guy with like, what was it? DNA transplant, I think. Is that the one that changes attributes? That's up to 2,500. I mean that's not. I mean the card kind of struggles, right? I mean you don't have to use its burn effect, but you can. Um, Attack can get high, but it does. Fire for a while was kind of inherently a struggle attribute for the most part, like the fire strategy. I mean, like horse is good, but like fire monsters in general. Yeah, the burn you want to use for like finish off your opponents, which is kind of like like the cannon burn decks and stuff of Days Gone. Yeah, for some reason my Streamlabs thing ain't. Okay, there we go. I had to press it like again, and it just popped up. That was weird. Yeah, Fire Princess. Like, aside from that, I mean, like I'm sure people mess around with Horus. What was like the next like fire? I feel like I always forget about like a fire deck. I don't know. Like, where would I put Ultimate Baseball Kid? Right? C or D? Yeah, like I like my rogue ass fire decks. If he's not bottom rank C, I'm satisfied. If he's not, I feel like D, because I feel like D is kind of like a jank tier. And keep in mind that this list isn't like top and bottom thing. It's just purely the like category. It's purely the row. So like Dark Factory is not saying like it's better than Grandmaster Sasuke or vice versa. Might Matter and Reaper. I mean, I haven't heard or seen anything, but again, I've also said that it's Jank is fair enough. We'll save the Horus monsters for last, I think. Uh, that's a spirit. Let's see, Spirit Barrier, which is like that tornado wall thing. I feel like this is also a D. In regard, like I get its effect, but it doesn't it doesn't feel like it's like doing much. I mean, a tuned defense. I mean, sure, but who's running tuned defense? Reflasia. Reflasia seduction. Flip, take control of monster until the end of the turn. Ugh. I mean, a change of heart flip on paper is good, but it's like, what are you doing with that per se? The problem with that is that like it does kind of struggle with it being a flip monster. I should put the cards up on here. Kind of work that is needed to use centerpiece strategy can accomplish a lot with less effort. I don't know. Like, because like let's say you're running a go control deck, right? Thousand Eyes lockdown. Like you can have that lock and use this to like steal stuff, but then you're using Sook on this monster, and if you steal a monster, that's something that Thousand Eyes can't suck up, or that monster can't attack. So, like, you could steal a monster, but like it feels like it's too specific for like you need very good timing and for both activate this effect and to actually get something good off, whether it's for battle damage or to tribute over or something. It just feels like it's asking for way too much, like given the card. Like if it was just like steal a card, like steal an opponent's monster, like that's way better. Yeah, it just I don't know. Like it's not F, but it just feels like it's not gonna really do what you want it to do. I think is my issue with it. Because at least like change of heart, you can activate during your turn, right? Whenever you want, like during your turn. Like you don't have to rely. You don't have to like use your normal summon to set a monster. You don't have to protect it for a turn. You don't have to like set this weird convoluted combo to use it a couple times. But the effect on paper is not bad. Yeah, like F tier is stuff like F tier really is becoming like this is like abject garbage. Yeah, if it was like at the end, even if it was like at the end of your opponent's next turn, because that way it would like during their turn you'd still keep it, but then it would go back. Like that's a whole different story. That's neither here nor there. Like it doesn't give you enough time to like do stuff with it. Because if it was during your opponent's next end phase after like this turn was activated, this effect was activated, then you wouldn't mind if your opponent attacked into it because then you just steal that monster, and then you'd have a turn to use it. So like at least with that, you still have the opportunity to use something with it way more often. Yeah, and it would be a lot better with monarchs. So set a monster right, have like a defense, steal a card, tribute over it. It'd be much better if it gave you that little extra time. Because then you can even tribute an attack over it and not have to worry about a like a soul exchange blocking your battle phase. Like I should have designed this card. Like, are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. Red Eyes B. I was actually just looking up Red Eyes B chick. It's funny you say that. Yeah, Red Eyes B chick. Black Dragon's chick. It's not bad, honestly. Like you summon it out, you just get a Red Eyes, pretty much at the cost of a normal summon. I mean, E4 accept. Yeah, it's like the first Red Eye support. It for a long time. I mean, if you're running a Red Eyes deck, right? Aside from like Fluta summoning dragon and stuff. Like I don't know why they didn't just make this a Red Eyes card. It's a little silly, but whatever. I mean, that's just Konami, I guess. Like it has Red Eyes. It is a black dragon. Yeah, it did for the TCG, but as soon as they started getting support, then they kind of had to change its name. I mean, like level 1 dark is like solid too. My gut is saying C. I could see a world where someone says B, but my gut's saying C. Just given like Red Eyes as a card. Yeah, but even like Red Eyes Darkness Dragon isn't particularly good though. Like I've messed around with Red Eyes decks in GOAT format. Never seen 2-man cell battle. I've seen like jank decks on YouTube of people like messing around with it. It's it's interesting. Ooh. I feel like I should have just done with like every card, but although I will say it's different now because I have all the cards on file, so I can immediately pull them up and do this. Which in retrospect, maybe I should have done before, but these sets are a lot smaller. Like this art's cool too, by the way. Like freaking blazing Apache here. Like, anyone ever notice? It's not just a wall of fire. During each player's end phase, the player can special summon a level 4 Normos from his or hand. It's yeah, like it's not inherently bad. Um, it could potentially be an issue though if your opponent is also playing those kind of cards. Um, see, is it is it feels a bit janky though. That's the thing. Like compared to other like weird, two-player cards. It's like this card was like in the meta at any point. Because the problem is that you can't really do anything with the monster summon, right? Like it can be a wall, right? It can stay there, but that's not. It's good if your opponent activates like it gets rid of your monster on the field in some sort of way that you already use your normal summon on. But apart from that, it just kind of feels like it could potentially help out your opponent. It feels like it does require you to have like a specific card in hand, and you get a monster. Yeah, you can't like do much with it. I don't know. Like at best, it protects you, right? And then you can do stuff during your following turn. But I just feel like this just feel like it doesn't really do much of stuff. Like I don't know. I'm feeling D for the jank, but the D silent or the J silent. Dank the dank tier. Dank tier. What? Has anyone ever seen those glug containers? It puts more meat on the field in a deck. 2K beaters like Alexandrite Dragon and Gene Warwolf. Sure, but like I don't know. I feel like if you're running those cards and they're already getting like destroyed, like immediately enough where you need to run a card like this, I think your deck's just bad. That's my thought process. I definitely see where you're going for though. I think that could be fun potentially. Ecto Ectoplasma. Ectoplasma is uh it was in our regionals in December 2004. What was the other crossing? Was it Ecto? No, that's a skill. Never mind. Let's bring up Ectoplasma, shall we? It's a cool ulti. Let me move this. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. During each the end phase, which is kind of similar to two-man cell battle, uh, each player tributes a monster, inflicts damage to opponent's life equal to half of the attack. So that's chaotic. Is that with limiter removal? Ouch. And this is a chaotic card. I do like my chaotic cards. Yeah, the original attack. I do like chaotic cards. Like you use this in like a like a stun deck. Your opponent just keeps like losing their monsters. I wonder what kind of cards you'd want to like monsters you want to get out for this. Yeah, Mouse All Demise. But that's in this set too. Like let's look at Malice. Yeah, if it's destroyed by Ectoplasmer, special summon during the standby phase of your turn. So essentially, your following turn, or during your opponent's end phase, or during your own end phase potentially. What are modern high attack monsters that benefit from hitting the grave? Uh, a good chunk of cards. They use it for Pac-Man. No, I mean like a lot of these cards people have like messed around with, and like Ectoplasm was from the anime, you know, anime and the manga, I believe. Yeah, I feel like I'd give Ectoplasma a C. Definitely feels like a card that like it could be chaotic fun, and I enjoy fun cards. And yeah, it could potentially see you play given like the right deck. Uh, whereas Malice, Malice honestly has good stats, 16, 17. And a Abyss Ogdatic, or how you pronounce that. You're talking about Ectoplasmer? Yeah, like Malice is it's intended for Ectoplasmer. Yeah, this is your market watch. Better pick up your Ectoplasmer now. Carson. Yeah, what is Malice? Because like if you're running Ectoplasma deck, are you necessarily running this guy? So I guess the question is, do we want to throw him like alongside Ectoplasmer? I suppose that's true. Why wouldn't you? To like run potentially, I don't know. Yeah, I'll just because he's only good because of Ectoplasmer. Right? He's only good because of another card, more so than the merits of his own. And this is something that we've talked about in the past too. True Draco decks. No top decks. Because I'm wondering if Malice is a C or D. I guess that's like my thing. Like he has decent stats. And I feel like Ectoplasm definitely has like a higher ceiling than he does. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm leaning towards D. Because it is like with like a mouse build, it is definitely janky. I feel like that's the only reason why you would play him. Whereas Ectoplasm just has a higher ceiling of things you can do with it. And I don't think the two cards are equal. I keep saying I need to get like a milkshake. This needs to be like milkshake Thursdays. What about the what about the okay, what about sandwich? Let's do sandwich. Like it's nice if you got both on the field if both cards are ever legal at the same time. Unless you're playing a traditional. Like, it is a meme card. And it has been used in a lot of side decks, I'm pretty sure just for meme reasons. Because like all those formats you can't even if you could summon out, it's not doing anything. Yeah, if both cards were legal, yeah, it would probably potentially see play. I mean, even as far as like magical scientist goes, like, it has like the right attack, but I'm gonna say D. It just released a bit too late. Yeah, like it had that synergy, but it just doesn't quite. It's not there in time. See, big wave, small wave, I think is kind of a fun card. It destroys as many wild monsters you control instead of summon like the same number from your hand. Like this is a good way to get out like big water monsters. It's not like a big meta card or anything like that. Actually, actually, you want to push it. Uh, Darkblade Fusion. Yeah, Darkblade, the Dragon Knight is RDS. Don't know what you're cooking. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Do you smell what the Janjo is cooking? If you smell what the Rock. Theoretically, this could be thrown into a Scientist FTK Fusion deck. I mean, yeah, it has the attack stats, but we already have plenty of monsters to make that work. Legendary Fisherman is unaffected by spell effects. Activate with Small Wave and have him survive. I don't think so. I mean, well, okay, so yeah, you can use Big Wave, Small Wave. Yeah, he would survive, but you wouldn't get that additional summon. Could still put a D because it's only lasts for this set. Yeah, I mean, again, like Scientist has enough targets to do the OTK. So, I mean, this guy is about as extra as like Sea Serpent Warrior of Darkness is. Yeah, big wave, small wave. Like it's a good way to get out big water monsters like Daedalus. But the issue that I found with this card constantly is it's one of those cards that it sounds so much better than it ever really comes up. Yeah, Roaring Ocean Snake, Empress Judge, Dark Flare Knight, Punish Eagle. That's a lot. Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't be affected by like Fisherman, but yeah, it just feels like one of those win more cards. Like it seems really alluring, right? But then you realize like, oh crap, no, you could potentially pop like way more of your monsters in than you want to. Um, it may not always be active. It may not always lead to you winning. Potentially, if your opponent has like a response to like the on summon thing or something, and then you're out like 3 cards. Because you're essentially using like 2 cards. Like at bare minimum, you're using 2 cards for 1. So you're essentially going a -1, I believe. Which makes this card tricky, don't it? Like part of me wants to put it in C, part of me wants to put it in D. I I'm feeling generous and want to put it in C. Just because I feel like you get more opportunities for like deck building around this card to get some like cool stuff out. And it's essentially like a weird it's like a weird tribute. Like this card didn't need it, but I think it would have been cool if it was destroy as many water monsters on the field as possible. I think that would have been better in some ways. But that's just what I was leaning towards. I could be swayed, I suppose, but What's Cemetery Bomb? Cemetery Bomb's a card that always seems kind of fun. Inflict 100 points damage for every card in their graveyard. It's not as good as other explosive cards. Other cards with like kind of similar effects, either deal per certain card or like a mod like Grand Maju kind of thing. Because like the most you are doing is what, like 3,900 damage. That's assuming like every single card except for one is in their graveyard. So like how much damage are you really doing with this guy, right? Like maybe 1,000, like probably 2K max, but even that's like you better get this at late in the game, buddy, because otherwise it's essentially dead. It feels like a fairly bad card. On paper it sounds nicer. And I feel like it's just like it's worse sounding than like a big wave, small wave. Where like their burn damage is like way less than if you just ran other burn cards in general. Or just like you probably get more benefit just running Ukazi. You know what I mean? What about the first card of this set, alphabetically speaking? Absolute End. Really cool art. Got Invader of Darkness there. After the opponent's turn, this turn the attacks from your opponent's monster becomes direct attacks to your life points. Sounds like a worse My Body is a Shield, I think. That sounds like why protect your monster like by that much? In pairs with Spirit Barrier. I mean, I guess, but at least Spirit Barrier is more of a blanket thing. This thing is just, I don't know. Like, I see what they're going for, but why not just run Wabaku? Enchanted Javelin? Like, literally anything else? Because, like, it's not a continuous card. Oh, let me look at Spirit. I guess with, like, Spirit Barrier. I'll put it with Spirit Barrier. I can see the combo. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it would have been a lot better if Absolute End was a continuous, because then you have like a really good combo with that. But this card only works one turn. So you're only getting that one turn of protection. Whereas Spear Barrier, like it's bad, but I mean, it technically has a blanket effect. I don't know. I just feel like with Absolute End, I just feel like they just really missed the mark on this card. Like it would have been totally different because if it was continuous, you'd have this card on the field with Spirit Barrier, and then like your opponent just like cannot get rid of monsters or deal damage. Like that's pretty wild. And that's my logic for that. Let's get some background tunes from me. With some jungle music. Oh, I'm gonna turn on. Yeah, I don't want background music on the stream because I don't want to get monetized. It. Can I just like? There we go. Barely loud. Abyssal Designator. Let's look at this guy. Pay 1,000 life points. Declare a type and attribute. And Puma send with both from their hand or deck to the graveyard. This sounds really bad. Right, what's the other card I'm thinking of? Was it? I think it was Herald of the Abyss, which is like better, kinda, but like I feel like a lot of decks that are running Abyssal Designator, or like you would be playing against, if you know, let me reword that. Rewind. If you're using Abyssal Designator against an opponent, right, their deck would be what, like Earth Warrior, Dark Spellcaster, or something. And like, I mean, they get the choice, and you're paying 1,000 life points for a single card to get sent, and it's a very specific card too. Which, like, if you know their deck very well, theoretically, you would be able to like pinpoint a specific card. But if like they have like multiple ones of that, right? Like, how often is it going to be like they have a single type and attribute of a specific card, right? Like if you're playing, like, let's say Go format, right? You're playing against a Go control deck, and you call Earth Warrior or Light Warrior, knowing that okay, it's going to hit like an Exile Force or a DD Warrior Lady. What's like, yo, Paleodones, what's up? Couldn't you pick a nonsensical combo and look at hand and deck? I do not believe so because I guess it depends on like the format, like rules, right? But I think most like even like in modern retro formats, you don't really you don't get to do that per se, or like especially in like non-modern stuff. I mean, I suppose when the card first came out, you could probably have been able to like check their deck for like a fire cease, like a fire fish or something like that. But then at that point, like, how does that necessarily help you out to winning the game? Like, okay, you know some of their cards, but you just pay 1,000 life points for a neg 1. Whereas Mind Crush, like, will get rid of a card, or Vampire Lord has field presence. I'm trying to think like the logistics of this card. Because like it kind of feels like you're just essentially paying life points to give your opponent a foolish burial, right? And that's and you don't even get a like, and they get the choice too. I don't know. This seems really bad. This seems really bad to me. But I definitely see what your mind's at. What about an innervating miss? A continuous trap that your opponent's hand size becomes 5. Interesting. That's really bad because it's like barely a change. And you're just playing this card that doesn't do anything otherwise. Because, like, during their end phase, they can still, like, or during, like, let's say main phase 2, they can still set cards. They can still play around it very easily. That seems really bad. I don't know about you. Mind Wipe. I'm just picking random cards. A quick play spell. A kind of when your opponent has 3 or less cards in their hand. So I guess kind of works with the last card in a way. Your opponent adds their hand to their deck, shuffle, and draw the same number of cards. So you're giving your opponent a reload only if they have a small hand size. I mean, I guess you can combo this with like Compulse or something, but it's also very specific, and you're essentially doing -1 to reshuffle the hand, which they could just draw the card back, or they'll just draw it eventually. This feels like another really bad card. Like, why did it need to be 3 cards? Why can't it just be like you shuffle your opponent's hand? That would be a lot better. That would be a lot better, actually, because you could use a card like Mind Crush or Trap Dust Shoot, see their hand, and then if you don't like it, tell them, get a new hand, motherfucker. My wife called Haunted Protector of the Sanctuary. I mean, you could use Protector Sanctuary, but you rather just, I don't know, run like card destruction. Because card destruction, that they'd have to get rid of their entire hand, regardless of hand size, and that goes straight to the grave. Like this card, it's very limiting, isn't it? Right, 3 or less. Like you can't activate a turn 1. Probably might not be able to activate a turn 2 or 3 or 4. And if you do, how is that helping you out? Compared to like, yeah, you could do like a Sanctuary full hands deck. That was like a little more popular in rogue areas in the OCG. But even that deck was a little struggling. I mean, is that something more than like Goblin Calligrapher or like some of these cards? Like it just feels like a card that like it sounds like it could be good, but it feels like Konami really like there's like one thing on the card that kind of ruins it for everyone, right? Because I think the idea of just shuffling your opponent's hand and having them like back into the deck and draw a new hand is really interesting, and I really like that. But the fact that it just limits to like a very small hand count just absolutely kills it. Because like it doesn't have any like top deck representations like historically. Like, is there a card in the game that even just shuffles your opponent's hand? and like refreshes it. Because I can't think of it. I mean, there's like card shuffle that just shuffles the deck. Disturbance strategy. That's an older card. I think that's Pharaonic Guardian or something. Yeah, Pharaonic Guardian. Yeah, that card is that's just mind wipe, but a lot better. Like, yeah, it's a trap. So it's technically slower, but it's going to be way more active, which in a lot of ways makes it faster. I don't know. I feel like my wipe is just bad disturbance strategy. And even like shuffling your opponent's hand, even that's like already like a niche situation. But I do like the discussion behind it, though. That's what these streams are all about. Gorgon's Eye. I believe Pegasus uses. Until the end phase, effects of all monsters on the field in defense position are negated. I don't hate it. It's a little specific, but stops any defense position monsters, which could potentially be good. It's like a one turn skill drain if you're running like an offensive deck. I kind of like that. That sounds like an averagely designed card, I would say. God, look at this like S just Mind Crush all alone. What about Greed? Another trap. This one's a continuous. Got a few continuies. But we're getting close to 10 likes too. We got 7 currently. Not even close to what it did in TV show, but a cool card nonetheless. Oh, I talking about Gorgon's Eye. Yeah, turning a monster into stone. That'd be cool if it negates effects and makes your like defense 0, but that might be a little strong potentially. See, Greed. Each time a player draws cards because of a card effect, they take 500 points damage during the end phase for each card drawn by the effect. This technically combos with Mind Wipe for like 1500, but that's also like you're running all these bad cards for the Origin Zero. What's up? I mean, you're also running all these bad cards for like a Mind Wipe burn thing. So I suppose if you chain like 3 Mind Wipes, like back to back to back with this card up, that's 4,500 points of damage. Yeah, it's not outright bad. Like you can take burn, but like if you build your deck around it, or at least like have this as more of like a side strategy for opponent, it's like all about drawing those cards. In an era before Droll and Lockbird, and assuming this card doesn't get destroyed, if they draw all those cards, that would make this actually useful. That's kind of a problem with it, is that it only burns during the end phase and not like each time they draw a card or cards. So it could get popped, or it could just do nothing for a long time and just essentially be a neg 1 for a good chunk of the duel. Uh, yeah, I feel like D is probably good enough. I could see a world where people mess around with it, or could potentially bump it up to C. But it just feels like it's another thing that's a little bit too slow and not quite does enough. All right, what about the armed dragons? Let's do the armed dragons. They're kind of fun cards, are they not? We got level 3 here, right? He could be summoned off of Mass Dragon and Flying Kamakiri and Search by Sangan. His only thing is that during your standby phase, you can, you know, get into the other guy, which is usually useful with the floaters. Whereas level 5, 20, good stats. You can discard a monster to pop a monster with equal or less attack, which, it could potentially come up, right? You can pitch dead armed dragons, multiple level 5s. Destroys and during phase destroy a monster by battle, you can get to level 7, in which send a monster for a lightning vortex equal to less attack of the sent monster. Which, I think the problem with these two is that you need to send a monster card, which I get for like the attack thing. But I kind of wish it was just like send a card to pop a card. But maybe that would make this guy too powerful. So like maybe just send a monster to pop a card and not worry about like attack. And this card is maybe this guy is just like a lightning vortex. If you're spending all this work to get this guy out, like you should get something good out of it. I don't know if we're quite getting that. Yeah, level 5 is typically where like decks tend to stop with these guys. Like you could run a 7, like a one of, but you don't. It's never a mandatory thing. Level 5 is usually like enough for armed dragon decks. Well, I think the idea is that if you have like a high level monster in hand, you can just send to the graveyard, right? Like if you have multiple level 5s, you can send one. Or potentially a level 7, or just high powered dragons, but it's also a little bricky. Just an easy 2400 beater. Yeah, and you can special summon them out. I think that's like, I think the fact that what we've seen with armed dragon decks is rather lackluster kind of says enough. Attack less. It's not less than or equal. Level 5 is attack equal to or less of the attack of the sent monster. Level 7, yeah, same thing. So yeah, you could send another level 5. Yeah, I feel like 3 and 5 RCs. I wish Armed Dragons were better, right? Like, they seem like they're like. This is a problem with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards I've been finding. Is that it seems like they are very close to being like really good, but there's just like that one tiny thing. Like, can you imagine a world if Konami just made all these cards have a little bit of a unlocked potential? Because 7, I feel like he is a D, sadly. I really like 7. I think the artwork's really cool, but it's usually not worth it. Like, he's not hard to get out. And, like, his stats are, like, pretty solid. I mean, his attack's solid. His defense is actually kind of atrocious. When you consider this guy is 1700 defense, right? Like, this guy can die to a Tsukiyomi. Or a Book of Moon. And this guy can't even destroy Tsukiyomi because it's a spirit monster. Yeah, the idea is really cool, right? Like they're essentially, I'm sure they're looking at Pokemon for this, right? Like the 3 evolutions of a Pokemon, right? Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard kind of thing. And I think the way they went about it was like decent enough, right? Where like they released Mass Dragon in this set, right? So they had the idea of float into the sky. This guy, he can beat over a thing, and then you can summon. Like they plan this out pretty well, and they've included level up in this set too, which is a great way to do this as well. But then, yeah, you do have like all these downsides where Horus doesn't quite have those, and we're gonna cover Horus, but we're gonna wait till the um, last cards for that. Save the best for last. Because if you look at a card like where we only got one level for them in this set, in Ultimate Insect level 1. Like they're building up, right? So you saw this card, like, oh, it's only one. Really, like, surely future sets, it's gonna be really big. Get hyped for that. There's a lot of cool stuff with that. Um, this guy kind of sucks though. Unaffected by spell cards. I mean, who cares? Like, you can't even summon the other one on release. As during your standby phase. So yeah, you can float into him with, like, what was it, Howling Insect or Kamakiri. I've seen people mess around with this. So, like, let's pretend level 3, you know, already exists by this point for the sake of, like, retrospective. It's roughly, it's basically the same as level Armed Dragon level 3. So, like, I, yeah, it has the same purpose as level 3. Even though level 3 has, like, better stats and whatnot, it has the same function as it. Yeah, yeah, like what you were saying, history. It's basically the same thing. I'll talk about the other. It's Grave from Fourth Dimension. This is a level support, I believe. Yeah, 2 monsters level and their names back to your deck and shuffle it. Yeah, probably goes into. I've seen people have like some kind of like pretty fun like rogue ultimate insect decks. Yeah, this card would be a lot. I think this card would have been better if it had the additional sense of like add one to your hand and add one back to the deck. Because there's certain ones that you wouldn't mind being in the deck, right? Like a Horus. Well, Horus needs to be someone. Well, level 5, yeah, summons from hand or deck, and then 6 is also hand. I think they're all hand or deck, right? Yeah. Okay. So this I feel like this would have been better if like at the very least you could add one back to your hand. Like it would a lot better adding both to the hand, like a salvage or a dark factory mass production, which was also in this set, mind you. Like having them both in your deck feels like this only works for the higher level ones, in which it's why you know because if it was back to your hand, you can at least add the low level one, and then that would set up for future level plays. But the way this works, it doesn't set up for that. And like, and this would be one thing if it was like add 2 to your back to your deck, and then like draw a card or draw 2 cards even. Like give me something here. Give me something. Like because now if they are not in your graveyard, you can't bring them back out. Like this is basically like the only use of this really is if you have like a level 8, like a horse level 8 or armed dragon level 7, and it gets discarded before you summon it properly. Because this is before monster reincarnation. So like getting stuff back out of the graveyard is pretty rare. But I feel like there's a card that like sends stuff back to the deck by this one, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this is like only for that specific situation, and that feels way too situational to be useful. Yeah, I feel like F. It just seems like another card that has more problems than it needed. No, I'm thinking of a card that's like already out by this set. I could be wrong. But just wait 2 sets, we get Monster Reincarnation. So yeah, I was like, you just wait a little bit, you get something like significantly better. And then we got Level Up, which is just yeah, you send up a level monster and you summon the bigger version. I mean, this is much better. Like this is actually a really good card because it's a it's technically a -1, but you get a lot of advantage out of it. Like you get something potentially straight from the deck, which is good, and you get an instant upgrade of monsters. So you get an instant level 5 or level 7 or horse level 6 or level 8. So like this, I mean, this card like there's really not much more you could ask for with this card, honestly. Like I'd give this a B. Like it instantly brings it up, brings something out. I mean, where you need to attack with level 4. Like yeah, like it just you don't need to worry about like attacking anything or standby phases. Like it immediately gets you like an upgraded card. You're feeling CB-ish. I could see an argument for C. I just think given what the card is and what they're going for, it feels like this is exactly what they were going for. Like I like yeah, like you get a 7 up really easy with this guy, like what Mr. Yugioh said. It's like yeah, you can get you upgrade when you want, and I like that. Like the only thing that would make this better if it was a quick play. Like a quick play would make it even better because then you could work around like monster removal, right? Of it being like beaten over or a like an attack or a card effect or something, right? You can like chain it, but like what are you gonna do? Like quick play would quick play would make levels like make this card like way better. But again, for what they wanted to give us, like it's our Pokemon breeder, you know? Like the fact they gave us something this generic right off the gate is surprisingly good. I think it's so funny worded you can even level down some of them because of the wonky text. Let me read this card again. Special summon the monster that is written in the card text of that monster hand or so many conditions. Uh yeah, I guess technically you could use it on level 8 to get out level 6. Well, let's see Armed Dragon here. Also, I realized I think my Black Dragon chick, yeah, it's the Red Eyes B chick is named Black Dragon's chick. Thanks, filing. Yeah, yeah. I guess technically you could summon 5 with level 7, and that's basically about it. Did we mention the previous level? Yeah, it just has like summon like a level that's mentioned in the text. So technically you could level down, but I don't know why you'd want to unless you're like monsters under like a nightmare wheel or something. You know, it's prevented from doing something for some reason or other that's tied to the card specifically. But hey, the functionality is technically there. I'm just feeling like getting through the back row cards right now. Let's see. What is this? Ninjutsu Art of Decoy. Let's see. Target a ninja monster. You have as long as on the field, the monster cannot be destroyed by battle. But you still take damage. Like the crying tree. Is that Trent? Ancient Tree of Enlightenment. This card's interesting. Maybe. There's no top decks. By the way, one more like away from 10 likes. I think we can get there. If we pray hard enough. Vengeful Shinobi will later be very... like, it's kind of cool. Like, it protects your ninjas. Well, a ninja, anyway. Like Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. Probably not good with Strike Ninja, since it can banish and it would, like, remove its, like, targeted protection. Because it's a selected monster, not the selected card. And I feel like by the time ninjas became more, like, popular, it would be with, like, Hanzo and stuff when you have the extra deck, so, like, you don't really need this card. So then the question is, are you just using it for Sasuke? I mean, Sasuke's in the art back there. Then why not run, like, a Sakuretsu armor? Or just, like, any other form of protection? This seems like... I'm feeling D for Decoy. It seems like a card that's, like, it's not inherently bad, but it just doesn't seem like it does anything that, like, you can't do better with other cards. I'm saying one you could play Ninja Focus. Like, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what ninja cards are really making, like, good use out of it? Because, like, your main thing is going to be Sasuke. But zero gravity, stunning. Okay, I'll bump it up. I was kind of on the fence on it anyway. But I guess that's more logical reasons than not. By the way, I just randomly got in the mood for a McGriddle. There's like a McDonald's like walking distance from me. They have the best breakfasts. Good McGriddle with a hash brown, some orange juice. Yeah, I suppose stumbling. Although you can't really use. Well, I get zero gravity. Yeah, sorry, I was getting that confused with gravity bind. You could do like a ninja stun deck. That'd be interesting in like a warrior format. I mean, recently saw in one of YGO's tournaments that creator warrior deck. Well, that's pretty cool. Big fan of the creator, which we'll get to next week. Oh, exciting thing too. Uh, IRL. I have made a tattoo appointment next month to get a new tattoo, and it will be a Yu-Gi-Oh tattoo. Yeah, like it's like yeah, like, I don't think Decoy is like it's that good, but yeah, it's not outright bad. And I could see you doing stuff with it, I guess. But like I don't know, I still think like the problem is with it. Well, let me think about this here. I think the problem with Decoy is like yeah, like you rather just run cards that deal with the like it doesn't deal with the issues, right? Like it doesn't if your opponent has like a big beater, it's not like you're gonna have to run like a bunch of stuff to kind of deal with it. Well, then if you're just running like a Sakuretsu armor or a Raigeki break kind of thing, you know what I mean? That's my problem with it. Like it's nice as continuous, so like it makes them hard to get rid of. But like if they're not taking care of the issue, then what's it really doing? I guess like that's my question. Oh, the tattoo. You'll just have to wait and see. Tune in to find out. I'm getting it towards the second week of May, and so I'll make sure to post a picture somewhere, whether it's on my Discord, on my Patreon, perhaps, which I know you're a part of. So thank you for supporting. Could be on my Twitter, which I barely, I really don't use aside from just random advertising. Could be on my Discord, make a YouTube post. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to post this somewhere. But yeah, I'll leave Ninja Decoy in C for now, I guess. I do have issues with it, but you know, I guess I'll take it over like the other D tier cards. Taunt, very simply named card. Funny art. It's TCG artwork, very different from its OCG art. During your opponent's MP1, target one of your own monsters. As long as that's on the field, your opponent attacks. If your opponent attacks with a monster during their turn, they must attack the target. So it's essentially a one turn ring of magnetism. It's a trap. So yeah, it only gets like the one turn usage. But unlike Ring of Magnetism, it does not decrease defense. It's I'm thinking D. I could see the uses with it, like potential uses. It'd be better if they had to attack. Yeah. Yeah, they're not forced to attack, so they could just not attack. Like you can use it to like protect certain cards, right? Like certain cards that basically their only out that they have is to attack over it. And if you have like a proper monster for them to attack into, whether it is like a big beefy monster or a defender, but that's also a very specific game states, which makes this card way less live. Also, it's dumb that's during your main phase, during like your opponent's main phase one too. So like you can't do it like when they enter battle phase, or like they're committed to the battle phase either. Like if this was like even if this was when your opponent declares an attack, because then they would have to commit to that attack. Like this feels like another like weirdly added like line of text shift. Yeah, let me look up shift real quick. When was shift? Was that Pharaonic or Pharaoh's servant? Yeah, shift is just better in general. Yeah, even shift's bad. I What do I want to do with taunt? Is that a D or? I'm gonna give it a D. I don't think it's quite F. It's still it just still kind of does like whatever. I could see a world where it's an F. But what do you all think? I'm open. Shift is just the better version. Though the problem with Shift though is that it only like affects like one monster, whereas Taunt does affect like all of their monsters. That is something to consider. Yeah, so I think D's fine enough. Muko or Null and Void. Apparently, it's never been re-released as Muko yet, which is weird. You can only act. Which yeah, I don't know why would they rename it? They rename such like weird cards, don't they? You can only activate or an effect of drawing cards is activated. Both players see cards drawn by the effect and send them all to the graveyard. I mean, it's neat, right? Counters like Pot of Greed and Graceful and stuff like that. Dude's got a really long arm. Oh yeah, it's like that's just like perspective, I guess. Because if I like, I think that might just be perspective. I don't know. Ishizu card. Void spells are infinite searchable. Oh, that's why they changed the name. That makes sense. I have a counterpart card video. It's playing for June. I kind of like gloss over. I briefly touch upon it, but like just the weird like name translations that we get. That wasn't really the topic of the video, but that's something to like consider at some point. Which that would be an interesting just video in general, right? The just really go over name translations. What was the other one today that we were like that weird translation? Was that like just Red Eyes Beat Chick? Like like name translations that like really um like affected the card coming to the West. I feel like the card we're talking about was Black Dragon's chick. But if anyone has any cards they know that have like weird translations. Definitely send them my way. My Discord or something. Null and Void. I think Null. It feels like this card is probably bad. not using any decks. Muko. Because the card, it only deals with drawing cards, which it doesn't negate it, but does like get rid of the cards, which could potentially be a lot. And it does like you could use it with card destruction, but you also discard your own cards too, which for most decks isn't good. Um, it's really specific. Hoping for a pot, graceful jar. Yeah, it's you need this like in the right time or right place and right time to get any like use off of. But it's another one of those cards that punishes like heavy drawing. I'm like, how much advantage are you really getting off of this, right? Yeah, I'm gonna put it in D. Seems like another card that's like, yeah. I will say though, compared to Ancient Sanctuary, a lot less F tier cards. Maybe that's just out of generosity. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Also, one of the. It's also one of the you shuffle your hand in an irreplaceable game state judge. Judge. Oh, I didn't. I just know we got to 10 likes. I don't know how long ago that was, but heck yeah. So that's all the spell and trap cards. Now we get to the other fun cards. What the hell is this guy? Mind on Air. 6-star, very horrendous stats. As long as on the field, you must show their hand. Well, speaking of F, that feels like an F. You probably use this like for what though? I mean, yeah, you can use Mind Crush, but you're also tributing a monster. Like you can get it out with a floater. With like a Mystic Tomato. But like how much hand knowledge is that this card helping you out with? Because the thing with Mind Crush, like the whole thing with it, is that it's not that hard to make an educated guess, right? Because if you draw this card, it is a brick, and like why risk it? There are other cards that show you like their opponent's hand. And if you're like scared that if you want the strategy that much, you can just run like respect play or something. You think it's a D at best? It feels like an F tier card. You see people with Millennium Eye. True though, true. Like, why is it 6 stars? Why, why is it not 4? Like, you got cards that can show the hand, and if like that's like your biggest issue, which usually like those cards are already like you rather just not anyway. Like, it's cool that it's only your opponent that's to show their hand. I do like that, but this guy is like your girl. It looks, I believe it's a girl. It's got tits. It's got monster titties. Like, at least give it 2K defense and 4 stars, right? At least make it like an upgraded ceremonial bell. Yeah, this guy just this gal. I use guy in the general sense. What's this? Was a prenumeral soldier lady. Great art, I gotta say. So as long as it battles, see 6 stars, better stats. We'll say. If it battles a light monster, increase that by 1,000 points. Eh. I mean, eh. It's anti blue eyes card, kinda, I guess, but not like you're really gonna run into much of that. Let me look up. It can beat over BLS. What's the other card I'm thinking of? Was it Luminous Soldier? Yeah, Luminous Soldier. This guy got screwed. Or one this card was a TP4, I believe, TP5, and he battles like basically same stats, except he only gets 500 bonus. Blah. Yeah, I feel like D's fine. Like side deck card at best. All right, now we got like the two kind of different things. We got the retrain cards, and we got the Horus cards. So we're gonna start with the retrain cards, which I quite like, honestly. These four blokes here. Oh wait, no, wait. Well, let's do Mystic, the last Mystic Swordsman. I forgot about the last Mystic dude. This guy. We did the other two. Level 4. 4 is kind of neat, I think. Like, yeah, it has to be set first, which it's a little unfortunate, but 16 defense is like not too bad. And then he destroy, level 2 effect destroys the face down ones. Let's see, and during the end phase, we don't have level 6 in the game yet, but he gets that same kind of thing where he can level up if he destroys a monster. That's fine. I think he's okay. It's unfortunate. Like, I get why you can't normal summon him first because level 2 exists, and that would make level 2 completely redundant if this card just didn't have any sort of like caveat. But at least you can set this guy right without, and he's like not a tribute. Like, I could have seen this guy be a level 5, and they didn't make him a level 5. Like they didn't do that. I will never forget them that they don't level up. So don't affect destruction. That would have been kind of neat, wouldn't it? Yeah, when Scar's effect, it destroys with effect. which, you know, whatever, I guess. Like, if you have this guy out, then you're probably getting, like, solid advantage anyway, just, like, beating over stuff and, like, defensive cards. You also got level up, too, if you really wanted to get level 6. Yeah, I'm thinking C. He seems averagely good. And just just ignore these two cards here because these are just ultimate versions I accidentally brought over. So yes, the upgraded ones. So all these guys are one tribute. Um, in which Neo Akamodora has 3K defense. Hinhin returns 2 monsters, Nobleman or Hade, and then Nobleman Eater Bug destroys 2 monsters, and big boy Muka Muka. I believe he gains 400 attack for each card in hand in Rage Muka. Yeah, and he also has like higher stat. This guy actually sees some playing speed duels, but we're not keeping speed duels in mind. This is just TCG. So I guess let's just start. Yeah, let's just start with Enraged Muka Muka. I kind of like it just because if you have 2 cards in hand, he has 2,000 attack, and so like how often are you gonna have like 4 cards in hand, right? Yeah, he can be brought with Rat, which is how Speedles likes to play him. Out with the Rat, he can be searched with Sandgan. But that's the thing though, is like how big of a hand do you need? Because right, if you got 3 cards, he has 2,400 attack. Right, 4 cards, 2,800. Do you need that much? Not necessarily, but at the very least, like 3 cards in hand is good. And 2 cards in hand, like that's 2,000. I mean, it's not going to beat over a spy, but I think he's all right. I think the boost he get is not asking for too much in the hand. Like, yeah, you need cards in the hand, but that's just how the cards like function. Like that's their gimmick. Yeah, Thunder Dragon immediately 2 cards. Yeah, I think he's a C. Hade or Hadehane, excuse me. Oh, flip up to return up to 3 monsters. Oh, I thought it was 2. That's actually a lot better than I originally gave him credit for. I mean, it's unfortunate that his stats suck, which is like his biggest thing, right? Also being like a flip monster, right? I feel like this guy should have been like an on summon effect, but I get it. Upgraded version of the flip monster. Yeah, like I think it still has some issues, right? Whereas Penguin Soldier you can just set. Um, but 3 and return to hand doesn't do much and could potentially be an issue, right? If you return like a breaker to their hand, like you don't want to do that. Which of course you get the option to return monsters. Um, yeah, we also have Guardian Sphinx. Let me look up Guardian Sphinx. There's one tribute, much better stats. It's a reflipper. He's flip summon. You can return all monsters your opponent controls of the hand. Yeah, Hadehane, like, well, the thing with Hadehane, Hadehane, you can also return your own monster suit, which could potentially be a good thing, right? If you do have, like, a breaker or a card that's you want back in your hand for some reason, right? Maybe for discard fodder, maybe to set up an enraged Muka Muka play. Yeah, the tribute hurts. We have some potential soul exchange, shallow grave, bounce your own effects. Yeah, it's interesting at the very least. Yeah, I'd be willing to give him a C. It does have issues compared to like other ones, but meh, you know. I think bouncing 3 is really interesting at least. Like it's not as good as Guardian Sphinx. Um but you do get some like in more distinct utility out of it comparatively. Whereas Neo Aquamador, I think has some issue. Right? Like Labyrinth Wall, Millennium Shield, we have those cards at home. This guy has slightly more. He has more attack than those, but it's only 1200. And honestly, I don't even remember what I gave Labyrinth Wall. It probably wasn't particularly good. Like it has attack, but like 1200 is very not useful for a 6-star monster. Like this guy, if this guy had like 5 stars, at least you could use Legendary Ocean with it. But but this is way later in the game though. That's the thing. Like you can't get this guy out with Legendary Ocean for free. His attack doesn't really do much. His defense only gets you so far. Sure, Mother Grizzly, but I mean, like even like Shield and Sword OTK is like, are you really? Are there even going to be like much like how often is that even going to happen? You know, that's my question. I'm feeling a D for Neo Aquamador. I just don't think it has the same buff like the other ones like get. And they're almost never outside of case stool. Yeah, I'm gonna put this guy in D. I don't know. I feel like his attack just needed to be better. I think he needed at least like 18 attack to be considered more playable. Like they bumped up his defense. Why not the attack? I mean, 3K defense. Like at this point, like I just don't think it's not doing much with it. And like it's nice that he can be summoned off of Mother Grizzly, but whoop de doo, like Mother Grizzly summons an attack mode, so if they have another monster, he's getting destroyed. Like I don't think he's F because sure 3000 attack, but I think like the game has kind of proven that 3 attack doesn't really do diddly squat in the grand scheme of things. Like I'd rather play Millennium Shield just for the art. Like if this guy was like I mentioned, if this guy was a level 4 or a level 5, that's the different story because in Legendary Ocean you can just set this guy for free, and that's that could come up more often potentially. But the 6-star thing, it's like you're they're writing on the same issues as they have in the past. I think that's the problem. That this guy in particular feels a little bit um unmodernized to Soul of the Duelist. It's also weird of like all the cards they picked from too, right? Like they're all effect monsters. Like we would eventually get the Cannon Soldier like MK2. I feel like that should have been in this place instead. A Noble Maneater Bug. I remember Noble Maneater, but this one definitely stood out to me when the set came out as like, oh, what's this guy? That's so cool. Destroy 2 monsters. Unfortunately, it's not 3 monsters like Hadehan. Some news, you say? Breaking news! That was very close to a life point noise. Arados won the White Tree from the Imperial tournament. Oh, nice! Congratulations! Arados won my Yada Lives tournament. He won that nice secret rare Yada Garasu. Nice. I was watching his YJ from Zero's Critter final stuff earlier today, though I fell asleep like halfway through. But Critter format's nice. I'm gonna say it here because I say this like random shit on stream. I think the next tournament, which I'm thinking might be in July, I'm thinking I want to do a Critter format tournament. I already have a name in mind, but you know, as it gets closer, I'll have more of an idea towards that, and I also want to whip up like a logo and all that, prizes and all that stuff. Yeah, like I was just mentioning like a couple minutes ago. Yeah, I watched that finals, which yeah, Critter's just so good. I think like compared to like Yugi Kaiba format, I don't like Yugi Kaiba format like nearly as much as I used to. Whereas Critter format is a format where I was a bit iffy on it at first, but like I've grown to like absolutely love that format. I just feel like Critter like it just has so much to offer in it, and it reminds me a lot of like Yada format, right? Where there's just so much like variety and like the place and like the play speed is like it's just right for like a classic card game. If Janjo handpicked his own card pool for a tournament, I would be down to play that. I would not know what the balance. That would be interesting. I wouldn't be opposed to doing something like that, but I don't know how interested like a majority of people would be. You know, where like Yada Lives only had like I don't know what was it, like 12 people, let alone in my own card pool. Like I think that would be a fun exercise for a stream, but also like I don't know like how I would even pick all the cards for that. Like how many cards are like in a cube? Could do like a Janjo cube, but then like balancing wise, I don't know. Like that sounds like that would be a Janjo cube would be like a project I would have to do like behind the scenes kind of thing. I like the idea. 360 cards? Goodness. Yeah, I would be down to like figure out like a cube kind of thing. Because I think it'd be fun to like pick like cards from all over Yu-Gi-Oh's history and like form something with that. But I don't think I could do that within like a stream's time or something, or that would be something that would be interesting for people. Like I think it'd be something I would make, put like a quick video out there for people and stuff, and then just like let them have at it. Maybe I mean I could host theoretically host a tournament with that kind of thing if I throw a prize, some prize in it. But just considering how Yada Lives was, I would be surprised if like many people would even like bother. But that's just my mindset towards the matter. Yeah, noble man eater bug. This guy is. I don't hate him either. I I feel like he's on the same lines of like. I don't think he's as good as Enrage, but I think he's better than Hade Hane. Just because you pop 2 cards. Thing is, when you tribute set, your opponents are already suspicious. I mean, if you're depend on the deck you're running, you could run like some things. Um, so like they're gonna be suspicious like regardless. I think okay, so I think like the main problem I have with this guy is not the stats because like whatever it's weak flip monster upgraded. I think the problem I have with it is that it's not destroy up to 2 monsters on the field. It's just destroy 2 monsters on the field. So if your opponent has 1 monster on the field, this guy's getting destroyed too potentially, or one of your own monsters potentially. I think that's one of the main issues with it. I would say. Whereas Harehane is up to 3 monsters. Or where Enrage Muka Muka is just depending on your own hand. So your opponent doesn't really matter per se. But I do think pop in 2 cards can potentially be strong. Um, like I mean, this guy can be summoned off of Giant Rat or Howling Insect. Um, and if you tribute set this guy and pop to your opponent's monsters, it's essentially a +1, right? And then depending on your game state, you can recycle this guy in some ways. I think this guy is a C. I think like the 3 effect ones just shows that they're better than like a normal monster. It's like that's my thought on that. Ooh. Apparently my channel hit 900,000 views, which is technically wrong, but that's cool. I say technically wrong because all my pre-Yugioh stuff has been unlisted, in which I've definitely hit over multiple millions, but because of those unlisted stuff, they take that data away. But still, that's cool. Cool nonetheless. Um, so let's talk about Horus's Servant, shall we? Before we get to the main squeeze. Horse's Servant is like one of those ones where I get what they're going for. It just felt like he's just too weak, right? Like it's cool that it protects your horse cards of stuff, right? Which protects it against things like primarily like typically during a horse lock is like monster effects is the big one, right? BLS, Tribe Infecting Virus, Chaos Orc. But they can just attack over this guy with like any monster so easily, right? I don't know what the real benefit of running this guy is unless you're like you really want to run like all the horse cards you can in this era. I Is this guy F tier? He might be F tier. Like his effect is good, but like God, like nothing is helping him survive. Like his attack needed to add an additional 6, right? He needed to be 1600. Yeah, like he needed either like a respectable attack or high defense. Like 2K defense or 1600 attack. One of those two. Like you could have the other one be 100. That's whatever. But give this guy a reason to stay on the field, I think, to protect like your horse. Yeah, I just feel like they really missed the mark. Like that's a stat that absolutely kills a card. That is a prime example of that. Okay, we finally made it. Actually, how long have we been going? 3 hours, 15 minutes. We got 12 likes, 8 concurrent viewers, over 100 views in total. Heck yeah! Which, by the way, if anyone's enjoying this content, if you haven't liked it yet, feel free to like it. Or if you want to support the channel like further than this, my Patreon, which is linked below, probably be the best place for that. $2 a month. That's it. and you get early access and other sorts of goodies, and just supporting the channel in general for historic Yu-Gi-Oh, and so I can write all this crap and make all this content for you all to enjoy. Horse is like, damn, I couldn't get a better servant than this. True though. He's like, god damn, I got one guy. You can't even punch a gas cloud. Horse level 4 would have a higher OCG rating. Yeah, the horse decks were a little bit better over there. Which, by the way, June OCG Series 4. Get a load of that. Low budget that year. Yeah. I mean, horse we're seeing as like a budget deck. At least, more so in the OCG perhaps, but the horse cards are like they're so cool looking, aren't they? Right? Like they're so cool looking. It's like white raw. I mean, I know they're different Egyptian gods, but still. Like, and yeah, horse, you know, like this should have been servants like stats 16 1K. Like this guy cannot be switched, which is a it's very nice inherent effect. Destroys a monster, which 16, it's not asked for too terribly much. It might be a little difficult. Yeah, no snatch, no swap, no mind control, brain control, no Thousand Eyes restrict. And then you get level 6, which is only one tribute, and you can normal summon this guy out, which again, good stats. Similar level 5, right? Sook proof, can beat over spy. That's all I really want. Um, he's now this guy. He can be taken control of, but he's unaffected by spell cards, which means no cards like basically the same things, really. Very similar things anyway. Brain control, Book of Moon, all that jazz. Change of Heart, Raigeki, I believe. And then it Swords of Monster, which is much easier. And remember, level up exists too. Which it is interesting how they make level 4 work by destruction and not by standby phase like some of the other ones. But this guy's like, pretty solid too. And level 8, which is certainly a boss monster. Again, just absolutely sick art. And this guy's main thing is that he just negates spell cards, which is really good, right? It's like Dark Paladin, kind of. Which is great. Like that's insane, right? Just all spell cards. Get this guy up with Royal Decree, like you're golden. Like you just need some effect protection, which best case one would be Divine Wrath, which would be released in the following set. I mean, we're not counting Horus Servant. That this guy is a hot garbage, or even like Solemn Judgment, right? But if you're running Decree, yeah, I mean, the car has to have a weakness, basically. Yeah, Servant Crew with Heart of Clear Water. Yeah, that requires a lot. And the nice thing with Horse, though, is that you can still activate spell cards, which is great, and it doesn't cost anything. And this guy got 3K attack, 18 defense. Like, I mean, horse cards are really good, aren't they? I think level 4 is definitely the weakest of the bunch. Just given he does have a low attack. Um, and you don't have to play him either for level 6, which is nice. Yeah, level 4 would be being the OCG if this was OCG. Yeah, the Horus Decree deck. Or the what was it called? What's like the OCG game, like Touch Horse, I think, horse touch, something like that. So what are we thinking for horse? I'm feeling this level 4 is C. Yeah, the deck didn't see like too much play, but the cards themselves are still good though. Like they still have like good effects, all things considered. I feel like level 8 might be A, just given like how strong he is. But level 6 is the one that I am contemplative over. Level 4 is a minor counter to some goat, more common goat stuff. That's about it. Yeah, like if it's about losing control like of your monsters, you have like Mataza and you have blindly loyal Goblin, and that would be the one you would want to run if you want like a side deck a card to avoid that stuff. Because blindly loyal Goblin has 1800 attack and he can't be moved over. Yeah, horse is like really nutty for like its time. It's just it's a level monster that needs to be special summoned. That's kind of like its main drawback. Level 4 will also work something like Rush Recklessly. Sure. Could also work with like Axe of Despair. Yeah, like level 6 is like I could see a world where it's a B, and I'm kind of leaning towards B because it has good stats. It's not affected by spell cards. Like as far as the horror stuff goes, it is an improvement. It's not as good as 8, but it is improvement over 4, which makes me want to put it in under B. Horses are strictly better than Silent Swordsman. Yeah, I'm feeling B for level 6 because it definitely feels like horse is definitely like improving each step of the way. Yeah, King Dragoon. Yeah, dude, I got wrecked at a tournament recently with King Dragoon, and it wasn't even in a horse deck. It was in an earth deck. Surprisingly, metamorphosis on like Mega Rock Dragon. Also, like I can't target King Dragoon. I'm like what do I do? Like honestly, this set feels a little more like even compared to like a lot of previous sets. Although, asterisk is this to say, a good chunk of those cards, like there's not much great cards of this set, and there's a lot more just like average to mediocre cards, which is something to note. Yeah, King Dragon is really good. He's pretty underrated. Like people need to stop sleeping on dragons. I mean, we saw freaking Alethea at the recent like goat tournament play that super rejuve, like blue eyes paladin white dragon deck. That was spicy. That was really like. Could you imagine if Thunder Dragon was a dragon type? Just saying. I mean, this was certainly nice though. Like, I'm not here like 5 hours in, still working on the set. I really need to get that. I really need to start Milkshake Thursdays. I need a consistent like $5 donation each stream. Actually, I am thinking next month though, setting up like a monthly goal. I don't know if that would like help. incentivize things or not. But it would be nice. Because, like, I mean, like Ancient Sanctuary had a lot of stinkers. Like, I do think the set's on average better than Ancient Sanctuary. Because, like, how many F cards we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, we didn't even get 10 cards. Like, if I did a top 10 worst SOD cards, I would have to, like, pick something from here. Which I could probably figure out, I guess. But yeah, it goes to show, I mean, that at least by this point, Yu-Gi-Oh, they're at least considering cards more, especially since that they are making like the solidified 60 card set. So it's not just like random bullshit go. Like they're giving a little more thought on cards, even if some of the cards are still bad and or overcorrected. Like we got a lot of like really cool stuff in this, right? We got things that act as like two tributes. We got like attribute things. We got like floaters and things that special summon things, and really see like the change in direction that IOC was really like gearing towards, but this kind of doubled down on that a little bit more than like Ancient Sanctuary did per se. I think while still keeping like a so classic feel of the game, but still updating things right with like the level monsters, like the retrains. Like that was like kind of a crazy idea at the time because we didn't really see that except for like um like counterpart cards like recolors and stuff, which is a topic I'm going to discuss in June's side deck video, in which you'll get that early on Patreon. But generally, I mean, SOD, like I really enjoyed the vibe. And for what it's worth, it's a good set. I think all things considered, I think it still has a lot going for it. Um, and there's like new strategies if you want to run new decks. Like with Black Dragon's chick, now you have more of a reason than ever to run a really stupid, janky Red Eyes deck, right? Especially with um the like the Dragon's Roar deck, you know, fairly close on release. And like cards that will like kind of remain otherwise for a while. Like I don't think there's necessarily a card. I think like the only card that really has played the test of time would be like Ojama King and Mind Crush. And of those two, it's really mainly just Mind Crush, which primarily just got hurt because of a rulings change. When they changed it where you're not allowed to look at your opponent's stance like verify anymore, which was like a big thing for that card. Where they changed it to now essentially your opponent could lie, uh, which could cause potential issues. But that affects other cards too. But that was like the big one that affected that, which is rather unfortunate. I think I also affected something like Royal Tribute. I think was another card. Uh, but Minecraft is definitely like a super powerful card that I can see why has remained powerful because it's a simple trap. Call a card, they discard all copies. You know, simple effects go the longest way. 3:30. All right. Well, I guess with that, I'm basically done. So this upcoming Sunday, no video this Sunday, but the following week's video is already up on Patreon, so you get an extra week early for the next Yu-Gi-Oh history, which is Meadowlands format, which is the first 2013 format that I'm covering, which is really interesting to consider. A lot of fun stuff coming up. Next week should same time, same place should be Rise of Destiny stream, and after that is going to be the last tier list stream. for a while anyway, which would be Flaming Eternity. I'm sure at some point I'll probably cover the GX sets. Um, but we'll come across that bridge when we get there. Yeah, I made it end of the stream. Yeah, well, because these sets are so much smaller, we don't have to take as much time. We can chill out a lot more and have little short streams. I have considered having an additional stream during the week. That's like not related to like Yu-Gi-Oh. But I'm probably gonna put out a poll tomorrow about that. Like having like a stream where I'm just playing like a random video game or something. I do have a Twitch that I barely touch. I think originally I was like my idea was that would just be like an etc. streaming thing, but it makes more sense to keep stuff on YouTube. But I'll put a poll on that. Um, well, that's basically it for my plugs. Ooh, yeah. So yeah, thank you all for joining the stream. It's been a hoot. It's been a holler. It's been fun. It's been real fun, and it's been real. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and until I see you all next time, have a wonderful day.